What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. Here we are at about $82,341 with a nice move yesterday, guys. Nice move on the 9th of April there. 8% in a day. That's a big deal for Bitcoin. It's a lot of volume, too, coming in at the lows here. You really had the opportunity to break below. I'm very surprised, right? This skims, it barely skims the area that we've been long awaiting for. And I gotta admit, I thought that we would go a little bit lower, but gotta call a spade and look at things for what they are. And I do think that what's happened over the past 24 hours, you guys, is enough to start being optimistic, start being a little hopeful that the low is in. Now, we haven't seen enough yet, right? Optimism, hope is not enough, right? Doth butter no parsnips. Am I right? It's not going to do too much for you if you can't get above, let's see, if you can't get above this line here, right? If you can't do this, you are in this downtrend still. I mean, really what we need to see is some kind of move that takes us above that high. I think getting above 88,000 is a really big deal. But before we even think about any of that, what we need to see is continuation of the immediate day. We need to, or of yesterday, immediately today. We need to continue closing green. What we don't want to do is what we've done every time we've gotten a big candle like this, right? Where we get a big candle and then we reverse it the next day. Green bullish engulfing candle, and we reverse it the next day. Start to get some movement and then we reverse it. We don't want to do what we've been doing for 3 months now, right? We need to do something different. Different behavior begets different results, okay? And doing something like that around here too, where we're at the top end of this descending trend line, I don't really focus on diagonals so much, but I do think that this will be a big deal. And I do think even more so than that, getting above this horizontal level here at about 88,000 is going to be a big deal. And the most significant deal is right back at this breakout point at about $96,500, $96,000 there, right? 3 barriers to entry to the land of the promise, to new all-time highs at prices that are above 130K, 170K, and beyond by the end of May and by the end of June. Likely by the end of June for the 170K and beyond targets, right? That's the expectation. We'll go over that too. But the first step, the first barrier to entry is do something different. Don't sell off immediately. Let's get continuation of this move, right? This is not continuation. That's not enough. Optimistic, sure, not enough though. We need you to push through Bitcoin. Get above 85K. Don't close below 79K. If you close below 79K before we get above 85K, there's a chance that we do go lower, and it's fine. By the way, let's take a pause on the first barrier to entry, right? Here's the second one, here's the third one if you really need to know. But on this pause, if we don't break through, if we do the exact same stuff that we've done this whole time and we reverse right now today and we come back down and we're all the way down here, nothing's wrong, you guys. Crypto's not broken, Bitcoin's not dead. It's just following the path that we've had set before us for a long time, and it gave us a reason to get excited right at the end, and it does that perfectly. Do not get shaken out if we do see prices below 74.4K. It's fine. Bitcoin is fine. Your bags are fine. Crypto is fine. It can be at 73K. It could be at 71K tomorrow, today, by the end of the day, and you're fine, okay? I'm not saying that we are going down here. I'm saying that I do think this is the low, but we need confirmation. We need more than just hopes and beliefs and I think. So what we need are confirmation and validation. We just don't have that yet. Until then, it's very important to be wary of the downside so you're not caught off guard and panicking like a chicken with its head cut off and then running around not knowing where you're going, right? First, barrier to entry. You need to move up, continue, do something different. Second one, 88,000. Break above 88K, close above 88K on a daily basis, 2-day basis, kind of like what we're doing here. We want continuation. You want to close above here and get some continuation. And then last but not least, 96.5K. Same rules. Get above it, break above it. Don't just stop there. It's okay if you stop there. It's okay if you stop there, right? It's just like it's okay if we stop here now. But if you want to validate this low, that's what it'll take. You can't just stop there. You have to continue to break through it, right? So that's the path ahead. Until then, very important to consider lower prices are possible, but I like our chances right now. I really do like our odds. Bouncing off the oversold zone, miraculous. Getting up to the 50s, fine. We could reject this area. If we do, we need to hold the 40. Bouncing off the 40 can set us up for some rather productive movements. We are breaking out of this overall downtrend in the daily RSI. If we look at this going all the way back, yeah, breaking out of that here with this move. We've been trying to break out of it. This could be the real deal. Tipping the oversold zone like that's a big deal, you guys. Bitcoin, I mean, this last move, you find this low here that held for a while, right? We moved up higher than we are now off of this. I mean, we found support at a higher low too, so maybe that's not a fair comparison. But we saw a nice move off of this low, bouncing off the oversold zone. We're clearly struggling to get oversold, and whenever you see moments like this, just like the overbought zone here, you're struggling to get into the overbought zone. It's clear. It's not that the more you try, the more likely you're to break through. The more you try and you're not breaking through, the more it's like, okay, wait, what's going on? Why haven't you broken through yet? And then you start to come down, right? So same thing here. Why haven't you broken through? Well, maybe it's time to start turning things around. I think that it might be. We look at the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour RSI looks productive as hell. Bullish divergence. It's I would call that bullish divergence. And that's a beautiful look there too. Decent volume. Yeah, perfect. Really looks great. 1-hour time frame looks phenomenal as well. We just need that continuation today. And again, it's okay if we don't see it. It's totally fine. Bitcoin can go to $70,000, you guys, even below 70K, and it's still fine. But let's assume this is the low for now. Let's have some fun with the idea that this is the low. We do go above this. What are the next targets? Well, from the 1272 to the 1618, this is our primary target, our fib extension area, the primary target zone, between $121,000, right? I can't draw arrows to save my life, man. Hold on. Let's see here, something like that. What is it? There we go. A nice triangle, not a box. 121K to 138K. I don't know why I was struggling on that one arrow so bad, but that's our first target area. You break above 138.7, let's just call it 139K. If you break above that, you're earmarked for the next target zone, which is the secondary phase of the extensions, the 1886 to the 2618. The base of that range, first off, actually, before I get to that, this is the area that I think Bitcoin's going to top off at by the end of this next move. I think we are going to move up enough to get into this secondary target, the secondary fib zone here. All right, the base of this range is at $154,000. The top of this range is 203K, and it's completely possible to stop at either of these areas, or even more possible to stop somewhere in between. Does that make sense? The 1886 and the 200, they're both colored purple because they act more like a zone. Same thing with the white zone here. Same thing with a couple of other zones. The 1414 kind of is a zone in itself. I don't draw a line around it, but it's kind of a zone in itself. But I digress. With the 2272, you oftentimes don't stop right at it, but you go a little bit above it. The 2618, you do stop right at it. But I will say, Bitcoin, throughout this whole cycle with its 2618, if we look at it actually in this kind of context here, let me go back real quick, because this is actually interesting. The 2618, this whole cycle from relative highs to lows. Notice what we do with the 2618. This one's all the way up at 203, almost 204, above 200K, you guys. This is what I'm calling for the next move, is somewhere between this area here and this area here, specifically 170 to 200K. That's my personal prediction. I don't think we stop at 150 to 160. I sure as hell don't think that we're going to stop somewhere below. It's going to be somewhere between 170 and a $200,000 price, and I'm actually leaning towards closer to 200K than I have in a while. And this what we're about to see is why. It's just the behavior of the fib so far. Okay, so we look at this. We look at this here. Take this relative high to low. And you can see, no, sorry. Maybe not this one, my bad. Not a good example, but here, you stop at the 2272 nonetheless. Normally you do go just above it, but not just below it, but sometimes it does act as an area. That's not a good example, my bad, you guys. Is it this one? That one's at the 1886. Not a good example either. Where was it? Let's see. High to low. 2618 there. You went just above it, right? 2618 there. And that was a move that was a rather massive move. That's kind of what declared that the bull market was starting and that we were out of a bear market. Of course, the bear market ended back here, but this was a significant move right here. We take that next high to low here, and that one does take us just above the 2618 as well. Okay, now we're getting somewhere, right? Take this high to low. It's not at the 2618, but this 2618 is all the way up at 141,000. We're at the 1886 now. Whenever we went to our 1886 back here, high to low. No, not that one. Where was it? Was it this one? 1886 here. We didn't stop at our 2618. We actually went all the way up to our 3618. And in this case, the 3618 is all the way up here at about 212K. If we stop somewhere below 173K, 158K, I don't know, something like that could happen. But again, I'm just thinking that the upper ends are what we're going to reach. It's possible we could stop at lower areas. We could stop at the 1886 or 200. We've seen that before, but I think the 2618 is going to be an area to watch, if not something between there and the 2272. We can also take this into consideration with last cycle's highs to the bear market lows, which are a lot more significant than the most recent consolidation phase we've had. High to low here. The 1618 is all the way up there at about $174,000, which lines up pretty damn well with this 2272 area. So one way or another, and we actually have seen that too, right? Where you did stop just below the 2272. So just below that is basically at 174K. So very possible to stop there as well. But that's kind of where I think we're going. Not kind of, very much where I think we're going. By the end of this next move, by the end of June, I do suspect that this next move will be the biggest move that we've seen all cycle. And I don't know why people think we're in a bear market, man. This consolidation phase is better looking than the last one. It's about the same as the one before. It's just a little more slanted to the downside. I know it's boring. It's never fun to watch your bags move down and sideways for 3 months, but we're about to start moving up, you guys. We're about to start flying, and everybody's going to forget this drop just like they forgot that drop and this drop here. So you guys remember the ETF drop? It doesn't look that significant, right, on the charts? But from a high to a low, everybody's watching, and it drops 21% in the course of like a week. It's a pretty big drop, let alone what we've done, and it's taken 3 months. This is not that bad. It's very constructive, very tame, and I think it's going to produce a lot of growth here over the coming months. Again, these targets are by the end of June, likely by the end of June. I don't think it's going to be overnight. I don't think it's going to take 2 weeks, but I do think we're on our way there now. We just need confirmation. Confirmation in the form, really, and in my opinion, what I would like to see is just get above $88,000. Closing above 86K even would get me a little bit excited, but 88,000 is what I would need to see to validate this as a low, to confirm it as a low. Until then, we're running on possibilities. I mean, it's always possibilities, I suppose, but we're running on hope a little bit. We need to do something different than what we've seen here and validate this as a low. So until then, I guess we're waiting, we're watching, and this very well could possibly be the low. I am bullish. In case it's not clear, guys, I am bullish. I have flipped bullish. Yesterday was enough. I'd been bearish down to this low. I was still bearish even down to this low, and up until the end of this 4-hour candle here, I had remained bearish. But now it's time to be bullish. So now that I'm bullish, we can flush out, and then we'll continue on our merry way. All right, I got nothing else for you. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.